Paltrocast. Jason, Tom, Michael, pleasure to be speaking with all of you today. And I'll throw the first one at Michael. Michael, hopefully you haven't answered this 25 times before. What was your first experience with Veselka?
I went to NYU Film School, which, as people know, is a neighbor basically of Veselka, and any good student or alum of NYU knows, Veselka is your second kitchen. So I had been going there prior to meeting Tom and Jason for this movie for about 20 years. I have memories of going in with one of my best friends when he was the one that introduced me to the restaurant. And I have these memories of Tom kind of teasing us about we were playing cards, like, when it used to be open 24 hours in like the back corner at 1 a.m. And Tom asked, who's got the better hand or who's the better player. And, so those are fond memories. And I never at that time thought I would be, telling their story, sharing a 70-year story. And it's an honor.
I can imagine it's an honor. Mine, not that you asked, my experiences go back to after show hangs. You go to see a concert at Joe's Pub and you go, oh, what's open? And you go for that first time or two at Veselka, and then you go, this is legitimately amazing food. I'm going to keep going back anytime I'm in the neighborhood. Now, Tom, was there any hesitation for you to be part of a documentary? Because sometimes restaurants don't like that added pressure of everyone saying it's amazing.
No, I mean, I really liked Michael, and I learned to trust him very early on in the process. He seemed to really get from day one what Veselka was about. So, and honestly, we always liked the attention. We're business people, and over the years we've been fortunate. We've gotten a lot of media coverage, so I was comfortable with it and actually looking forward to it.
Now, throwing it here to Jason, because I made you wait the longest. I'll give you a two-parter.
Okay.
One, how are you? And then the second part, do you have a favorite part of the documentary?
Oh, wow. I haven't heard this answer.
I'm doing great. I mean, we're very pleased with the final product that Mike's created. It's been a true pleasure to work with him. We've, Veselka is, we're all extended family here. We treat staff like family, and Mike telling our story has now become a part of our family as well. And we're happy to have him as part on board. Business is going, going well. It's been somebody's asked. It's been a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great turnout when the war had started, and we've done our best to try to give back. Now that we're going on to 2 years into this conflict, things have kind of flatlined, and we're waiting to hear. Obviously, it's a political hot potato in Washington now with the aid. We're hoping that the release of this movie will shine a light, showing how our small restaurant here in New York City can, as a community, we can gather together and continue to, keep the spotlight bright on what the conflict and the trials and tribulations of Ukrainians abroad and here are suffering. So that, in a nutshell, is what we're doing.
Well, if I can throw back to Michael, or Mike, as I just heard him called. Am I allowed to call you Mike? Have I graduated to that level?
People call me everything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Well, everything. This film is wonderfully narrated by David Duchovny, who I've had the pleasure of interviewing. David is one of the most accessible celebrities, as long as he's passionate about the topic. If you want to talk about music with David Duchovny, he's got all the time in the world for you. X-Files, not so much. He's not available. But how did he come on board for this project?
So, we sat down between, Jason, Tom, and I, and floated different names. I wanted to get a sense of people they felt comfortable with to, be the voice of their story. And David came out to be not only the initial, really wonderful idea, but just given his history with the restaurant, he grew up only 2 or 3 blocks
Right.
away from the restaurant. And so on that level, it was very special, because what I had said to Tom and Jason was I always wanted someone that knew the restaurant, that they were speaking from the heart. It wasn't just a script on a page.
Right.
And yeah, he's a wonderful guy. I mean, I just a quick aside, when I met with him out in Santa Monica to record him, I was just showing him the poster. I was very excited about showing him the poster from the movie, and he kind of cut me off, and he just goes, "I just want you to know, like, whatever you need today, just ask for it." He's like, "I have no ego. I'm here for you in the movie." And I thought that was the classiest thing anyone could do, because, you know, it's David Duchovny. And while I'm not like a starstruck filmmaker, he just immediately made me feel like all that mattered right now was this movie. And that was, and he was just at our premiere in Santa Barbara, and that he echoed that again, like when we were there on the red carpet. He cares deeply for the story, for I think Tom and Jason and their story, and it's special to have him as a part of this.
And not the only notable David, because David Sanborn as well participated. So all the greats named David are here. Now, throwing it to Tom, when did you first start to notice that there was a celebrity appreciation, a mainstream appreciation of Veselka? Because, hey, it started off as a working class ethnic restaurant of sorts.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you notice, oh, there's really notable people here.
Yeah.
And just blending in. There's no VIP section at.
No. Yeah, going back to David Duchovny, I mean, this goes back a few years, but I would get approached by filmmakers to use Veselka as a location. And I always say no, because I'm very protective of our regular customers. We have a really tight core of people who come every day or every other day, and to close the restaurant and shut them out and anger them, I shied away from that for years. But finally, a location scout approached me and said a fellow named Bart Friendlich wanted to do a movie, wanted to shoot a scene there, and I said no. And the person came back and said, you know, I have to tell you, he really wants to do it here. You let him shoot his NYU student film, and he got an A on the film. And this is a crucial scene in the movie, and David Duchovny's in it, and Julianne Moore, Lucy Liu, and Billy Crudup. So I happen to, my wife's a veterinarian. Her office was in the neighborhood. Meg Duchovny, David's mom, got friendly with my wife, and his mom kind of told my wife, well, the first story was Meg shared with my wife that she was concerned about her son, who was on an academic career working for a PhD at Yale. And she said, I'm really concerned because now he wants to go to Hollywood and pursue an acting career and throw away his academic career. And so lo and behold, it worked out for him. But when the location scouts mentioned David Duchovny and told me the story about the film, then I relented and said, okay. And that's when I first met David. And his presence there created a stir with my Ukrainian employees because they knew he had Ukrainian background, which I didn't know. So that was kind of that's the long-winded answer to your question. That was kind of a turning point when I realized, yeah, there was celebrity interest, and that kind of opened the door. Then we shot many feature films and smaller films in Veselka after that.
Well, the follow-up statement and then the last question before I let you all go, and it's a softball one, I promise, is this is one of the first positive NYU stories you hear from locals out there, because usually you hear, oh man, they bought up all the real estate, they made New York unaffordable. But in this case, it's the NYU students who made the film about this, who wanted to shoot at Veselka in general. So we can get a nod here, positive NYU story with this documentary.
Well, film school anyway.
Film school anyway. So the last thing I got for you all, and I'll throw to Mike first, is for us to find out the next thing that you're working on. Where's the best way to find out about that? And then I'll let Tom and Jason plug Veselka and their socials.
Sure. If I could make it a two-parter actually. Day to day, my production company both creates content for theaters, TV,
Sure.
internet of all different formats. So you could see my company at fioremediagroup.com. But I'd like to use the time in particular to actually share just our upcoming theatrical dates, if I
Please.
may. Great. So yeah, it's very special. We're opening up in Ukraine actually on February 22nd for a week. And we're going to be in 6 different cinemas across the country. So Kharkiv, Kyiv, Lviv, and Odessa. And in some of those cities, there's multiple cinemas that we're showing it. It's a partnership with Planeta Kino. And then our US theatrical begins the next day, February 23rd, for 1 week. And we're going to be in New York at the Village East, LA at the Laemmle NoHo in North Hollywood, in New Jersey at the Bernardsville Cinema 3, and in Washington, D.C. at the Regal Gallery Place. After that, we're going to have kind of little one-offs and special appearances. So we're going to be at the Dairy Arts Center March 20th for a week in Boulder, Colorado. And in April, we're going to be in Chicago at the Siskel Center for a special event with a Ukrainian partner of ours in Chicago. And that's on April 8th. And then we'll be in Toronto for a multi-day run at the Ted Rogers Hot Docs Cinema starting on April 12th. So, to see, there will be other screens and cities added, maybe even by Monday. So for updates, go to Veselka Movie on all social media, and you can go to veselka.com, the restaurant site, where there's a lot of information as well.
Wow. So it's now going to be even harder for me to get a table at Veselka, but in the name of it being such a great restaurant, well deserved, and it's wonderful to see the heritage being preserved like this. Jason, Tom, is there an additional site or thing that we should be plugging before I let you go?
I think Mike had mentioned it in a previous interview that I behoove everybody to try to see this on the big screen with a grander audience. We hope that it will be streaming at some time, but I really do believe you get a lot out of it, seeing it on the big screen and seeing it with a group, because there's lots of ups and downs in the movie, and it's better enjoyed that way. We'd love to have you. If you're seeing it locally, please do stop by prior or after, and we're always here to serve you some of our home cooking.
And
those thousands of
Village...
pierogies made every day. But as you were saying, Mike.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just going to say, net proceeds from the Village East cinema ticket sales are going to be going to a nonprofit that Veselka has partnered with for many years called Rosem.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for your time. Congrats on the film happening, and looking forward to going back to Veselka very soon with the wife.
Okay, yeah.
Paltrocast.